Perikut Beis, Mishnah Hey. We're now going to move on to a very important din. A din concerning what happens when you want to change the usage of a kli. And there are two scenarios here, mentioned in this Mishnah and in future Mishnayos. One is you want to change a kli, which is at the moment not mekabel tumah, it's a kli tor. It's not mekabel tumah either because, for instance, it's got the wrong tashmish, or for instance, in the case of a kliates, it's not osil lekabel, whatever. And it's a kli shalem, and you want to change the usage to a kli which is mekabel tumah. Or you have a kli which is a shever kli, it's broken. And you want to change you want to be miyached it, to use it now for something which is mekabel tumah. So the general rule is, and this is not agreed by everybody, there's machlokes and tosfos. This is the consensus of the Rishonim and the Achronim. The general rule is that if the usage, the new usage, if the kli is already ro'oi for that new usage, as it is, you don't have to make any physical changes to the kli, then all you need is a yichud b'machshava, a decision to say, I now want to use this kli or this shever kli for this purpose, and that machshava enables the kli now to be mekabel tumah. If it's not ready for the new usage, then it needs some sort of maaseh, some sort of physical change to the kli. Then you have to do that physical change. The yichud machshava is not enough. You've actually got to change the kli to make it usable, to be able so that the kli can be used in its new function. What we've got here is a masmor. Now, a general nail, which you buy in an ironmonger shop, in a DIY shop, is assumed is not mekabel tumah because it's assumed to be osu lechabe im karka. You're going to stick it into a wall, into a door, and therefore the masmor is not mekabel tumah. She'eskinoi, masmor she'eskinoi lios peseach v'noel bo. You want to change the usage of the nail, and you're saying, right, I now want to use this nail to open and close things, to actually use as a little tool on its own. And the Mishnah says, Tome, as soon as you make that decision, it's Tome. Now, Baal Tanura tells you the word Sheskino actually involves a little bit of a maaseh. It says, Baal Tanura, Sha'okam roisha echadodoi, you actually bend the top or sharpen the kli. Because Baal Tanura is talking about a case where the kli, in order for it to have its new usage, Peseach v'noel boy, actually cannot be used as it is, and it actually needs this little maaseh to change it so that it now can be used. And therefore, where a maaseh is needed, you've got to do the maaseh for it to be mekabel tumah. However, if you just want to use this nail to stick behind a door, so that when the door is open, you can then come in after and say, 1 second, the nail isn't where I left it. Somebody must have been in. That tashmish is not a tashmish choshuv. We've had before, when the actual kli is just used for its presence, for its weight, and here you just want to see whether it's moved, that's not called a tashmish, therefore the nail remains a masmor, which is eino mekabel tumah. Says the Mishnah weiter, masmor sheskina lios pesech b'esechovis. If you want to change the masmor to a very specific use, you want to use the masmor to open up, to stick it into the tight area between the chavis and its lid. You want to prise the lid open with a masmor. Now, if you use a regular masmor for that, the masmor will just snap. So the only way you can do it, you've got to change the masmor, yes, do a little bit of a maaseh, but also, in order to strengthen the metal that it doesn't snap, you've actually got to forge it, put it into fire, and heat it and harden it that way. So Rebbe Kiva says he's metame, he's mekel. Well, he's machmir, but he says you don't need to go all the way to change the use. All you've got to do is a maaseh zuta. And this actually is a machlokes between Rebbe Kiva and the Chachamim. It's letamayu in quite a few mishnayos later on in the Masechta. But the Chachamim say, they say, once you need to do a maaseh to change the use, then you've got to take the maaseh all the way. You've got to go to the end of the process, and if the only way you can use this masmor for your specific intention is to be mitzarefit in the fire, then you've got to be mitzarefit in the kivshon, then you've changed it, and now it'll only be makabel tumah after the tziruf. And the last case in the Mishnah is masma shel shulchani tohor v'bitzodek mitami. This is a masmor which is basically, it's a peg, a metal peg. When shopkeepers have a stall, then they have a box in the street, a big box. When they open up shop, they take off the lid or the shutters, and they put it down and use the shutter as a tray, as the window, as the ledge. You have a masmor, which is actually made as a peg, which keeps these shutters, these ledges, these trestles, these tables in place. So basically the masmor is taken off and on the bit which is mechubar karka. But because its primary use is when it is mechubar karka, so that's why the din is tar, because this masmor, although it's taken off and on, is primarily used to be mechaber in karka. Rabbi Tzadok says no. We had this b'shittiful of Rabbi Tzadok in the previous Mishnah with the orange shel grusos. If something is primarily got a usage which is tar, but sometimes it's taken off part of its usage, although albeit a small part of its usage, but sometimes it's taken off and used shaloi l'chabim makarka, so then Rabbi Tzadok is matame. And the Mishnah ends off by saying, summarizing in the last two Mishnahs, the three machloikasen between the Tanna Kama and Rabbi Tzadok, where Rabbi Tzadok was machmir, shloisha dvarim Rabbi Tzadok matame, rachamim b'tarim, they are masma shel shulchani, which we just learned. The orange shel grusos, which was the end of Mishnah Dalet, which we said was a machloikas about the rule of kli eitz, which is osir l'taltel mole v'reikon, and a masma shel evan hashois, the little peg which you attach to a sundial, again where Rabbi Tzadok was matame, v'chachamim matarin, and that Baruch Hashem is the end of Mishnah Hay.